Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canandaigua's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. Visit them online at canandaiguadentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, everybody, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. Paul Russo here, and Nick Felice with me as always. It feels like winter's here, but we don't know fully yet. So we had a pretty exciting week of football again. A lot to cover there. We're going to actually talk NASCAR for the second week in a row.
We usually do this time of year.
Yeah, but it's not for the fun reasons this time around. And then because of some late-ish breaking news that's occurred today, might be the first time ever we've talked G League. But it's kind of hard to avoid. So
Will we ever get MLS talk?
Maybe. I don't know.
The playoffs, Messi's out.
I did see that. Yep.
Maybe someday.
Someday. Anyway, let's handle some podcast business. Of course, thank our sponsor at the front end there, Dr. Jeffrey Halstead, DDS. We also got Perfect Pair Eatery here in Saga Falls. Quality carry-out cuisine, everything made fresh, in-house smoked meats, comfort classics, desserts, sweet treats, and they'll please the entire family from lunch or dinner. So they are also open for breakfast now, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. They also have business lunch drop-off on Monday or Tuesday. You can reach out at perfectpaireatery.com or call them at 315-712-4004 and look for that yellow door on 64 West Baird Street. And the Cuga Lake Wine Trail, from the first sip to your last look at the lake, Cuga Lake Wine Trail will impress and inspire you. America's first wine trail. You truly choose your own path when you visit the winery, soak in the scenery, and make memorable moments with friends. You can plan your trip at HugoWineTrail.com. So, I know they got their holiday event coming up, actually. I believe it's in next weekend. Yeah, next weekend. So,
cool.
Sure you check that out if you're able to. So, Nick, I don't know where I fully want to begin with football this week. We sent the Giants and Panthers, your beloved Giants, over to Germany.
It was a great game.
And my God, I don't know if it was a good game, but nobody will deny that it was a game.
It was a game.
I don't know where, do we start there? Do we start with Jerry Jones having to defend his now 14-year-old state or 13-year-old stadium with light issues?
Don't even get me going on that.
Do we begin with a game that didn't even happen this past weekend, but is coming up this weekend with a lot of stuff on the line? I don't know where to fully begin.
Well, I think the bright spot about the Giants this week, they didn't tie.
Sure.
There was a chance at that.
Yeah.
I think Tracy fumbled that ball on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
No, he obviously didn't, but as
Sure.
a fan, I'll take the loss. Now we're dead last in the NFC, and we got a tiebreaker on Carolina and a game lead with all those other 2-win teams over in the AFC. We're looking good at that first pick, the one sport that doesn't have a lottery, so hopefully we get our first pick. I don't know if the Giants have ever had the first pick. Definitely not since I've been a fan or alive, so that would be pretty big. It was a pretty big loss. I think Daniel Jones is going to get benched, unfortunately. Once again, he played good the week before, didn't play so great at Germany, so he might get benched. Might be Drew Lock's time to finish the season. I don't think it's his time to shine, but it's his turn.
So when Dable says that he was evaluating everything, you think it's just one specific thing at this point?
I mean, there's a lot of problems, but the quarterback position could get moved. Just try something different out. I mean, end of the day, they're still trying to win football games. As a fan of the team, I'm hoping they lose every game so we can get that top pick. Hopefully get that Hunter kid from Colorado. Do not go for any of those quarterbacks. Maybe Cam Ward, but he makes a lot of mistakes. So I want that Hunter kid, and I want the first pick. I want the best shot at him. Yeah, I think the quarterback will be changed next week, and that's it for the Giants. There's not a lot going on there. Pretty irrelevant team right now. Still better than the Jets, which is good. I don't know, not record wise, but overall wise, we're still in a better spot, I think, than the Jets.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to.
Tracy's a good player.
Sorry, I had to tweak something over here on
I think
the back end, but
the whole Saquon talk is ridiculous. Tracy's done a nice job with us. If Saquon wasn't on the team, I don't think we'd have any more wins than we do.
I mean, it's an interesting situation, to say the least, with that, because again,
Losing Thomas hurt.
it took a lot in me again this week to not fully press people when they were complaining. I'm like, you do understand they offered him the money he asked and he said no. Like,
And you've been a big Daniel Jones defender.
I've been an apologist. It's one of those tough ones because like it's weird. I wanted just to give a brief shout out to the conversation I had with a Tops employee about this Monday night. Who is a Giants fan. I feel bad for you, but you appear to be in good spirits.
Shout out Tops.
So
Good donuts.
oh, God, those apple cider ones are. Anyway, and like he had a very rational take. He goes like, yeah, it's probably time to move on from Daniel Jones, but it's not entirely his fault, you know. And he is probably right.
Yeah.
He also brought up in like me and him talked about this for a quick second. If you're the Giants at this point, you're probably just better off hitting a full reset. Now, will Mara allow for that? I don't know, but like, look,
It's better than keep going.
in division wise, you have to look at this in division wise, right? The Eagles, at the very least, going forward, their only question is probably head coach.
Yeah.
Washington clearly set up nicely going forward here. No matter what happens this year, it's very apparent they have shown that they are set for the future. At this point, your race to the bottom is with Dallas, and even then, if there is one positive to Jerry Jones, right, it's the fact that he'll spend money to win. Like, in that sense of like, he's not going to want to tank, and he knows he has enough good players that like he can just get guys to come in. So if you're the Giants for the next like couple years anyway, like I hate doing it like this way. I hate the mindset of tanking, but like if you're the Giants, like probably in the next year and 2 years, probably the right time to just do a reset anyway.
Yeah.
And I hate saying like it goes against everything I stand for in the grand scheme of it. But like I just feel like if you're gonna do it, you might as well just do it now and get it out of the way with.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's just these coaches, they get to their third year. We've had so many coaches now, and they just, I don't know, it just seems like it gets worse as it goes on. They start off a little good, then it goes a little bad. I think a reset is perfect. If you keep throwing the same stuff out there, they're just not going to really improve. They got to reset, start over. As tough as that is, as a Giant fan, they don't want to hear that. But you got to. They can't keep running back in this mess.
The word, and the part that's tough, right, is like it's not even like they're average right now. Like they are trending more towards the bad end of it, which I view as being, in all honesty, better than being average. It's just that like I don't understand why they haven't cut the cord kind of yet with some things. And look, it's tough. I think Brian Daboll's a good coach. Like I legitimately think he's a good coach. I like to probably see him get another chance somewhere else. I just think he came in to that situation at a little bit of the wrong, not so much time, but like he's coming off of being the OC in Buffalo. Yeah. He's got Josh Allen. You come into a situation where, frankly, and I don't care that people might get whatever at this, got a quarterback that kind of fits the same bill in Daniel Jones, right?
Oh, I agree with that.
I think he tried to shoehorn a lot of stuff in that worked with Josh Allen that was not going to work with Daniel Jones, and it's kind of the product of it, more or less, at this point.
And this is a Giant team that has players on this team. Malik Neighbors could be a potential stud. Dexter Lawrence has been probably one of the better nose tackles in the whole league.
Dexy.
And Andrew Thomas, when healthy, is a great offensive lineman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pieces. Tracy's looked good this year.
I mean, there's also, let's not get this twisted too. There's also been some pieces that they've, I don't know about necessarily missed on, right? But like, freaking the one wide receiver, I forget his name. He's still there now.
Hyatt.
Yeah. They thought he was going to be
Yeah.
that guy, and he just wasn't. And kind of, I guess, same thing with Sterling Shepard in a way. And now he's in Tampa Bay. But, like,
Slayton's always been a 3.
I mean, even, like, to go back to even, like, maybe the earlier years with Daniel Jones, right? Like, Evan Ingram, like, he left and has now become
Good.
really good. I mean, probably top 5 tight end in the league. It's just one of those things where it's like, ugh. Like, it's one of those things where that's the definition of you have to look in the mirror and kind of wonder, like, who's this really on here? So.
It's a development problem.
Yeah.
Even though Ingram did make 1 Pro Bowl, I didn't agree with that Pro Bowl with the Giants, but that's a different story. But the Cowboys, your favorite team.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting here. Hold on. You caught me while I was still working on a back-end thing going on here on my end.
So I'm on the screen now.
Yeah, you caught me as I was having to type.
So
You caught me as I was trying to type in something, so I was off of the buttons over here. So
the Cowboys have an owner and quarterback problem still.
do they?
It's definitely not a Sun problem because last time I checked, the Sun has always been out there, and they're complaining about the Sun. Shut up about the Sun. From my office, I have friends out there. Yeah, they're complaining about the Sun, like there's stadiums that all the rest of the stadiums have roofs. The Sun has always been a factor. Like, come on. We worry about this in baseball all the time. We don't need CeeDee Lamb complaining about the Sun. It's the Sun. It's part of the game. Even Jerry Jones says you had a chance to play on the opposite side of the Sun.
But my thing with it is, like, this has been an ongoing issue, and, like, the Cowboys games are the only ones that have the Sun issue. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
Is it really?
When they have college games there, never an issue. You know why? Because they use the blinds for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I get where he's coming from. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, dude, like if you're like all your players are telling you it's an issue, it's probably an issue. And I get that you're playing in the same thing as the other team, but like if we aren't allowed to have that excuse for other venues, and like,
well, I didn't know curtains was an actual solution.
Yes, yeah.
But I thought you were just going nuts there. Let's get curtains. I was like, what?
No.
So there actually is curtains.
Yeah.
But the Sun's the Sun.
Whatever.
It's part of the game.
I think it's pretty interesting because too, like now today there's a report that came out that like people will be surprised if McCarthy's back next year, right? And like if there's anything worse in sports, they have a lame duck coach. Just fire him now if that's what you're gonna do.
Deion coming?
I think Deion's. Let me save that. Can we save that for college when we get to it?
There's a long thought there.
I think it's worth doing more in the college one. Only because I think he'll go Florida State. Could be wrong. Might be wrong the way that he's talking now about how he'll be guiding the scenes behind the scenes privately for Shador, but like, we can address some of it now.
All right.
Is he gonna he's gonna mess this up, right? For Travis and Shador, right? Like, I don't know what his end goal is with all this crap, if I'm being honest.
Any way to get himself on TV, but clearly he's not going to end up in Colorado. He's not going to run into the sunset with Colorado. This could be his last year at Colorado.
It's going to be his last year.
And I'll give him some credit. He's done a good job with that team. That program was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And then he brought them into, like, they can control their own destiny and make the playoffs right now here at the end of the regular season. So he's done a good job. He's brought in some good players. That helps as well because he's a good recruiter.
Yeah.
But also haven't played anybody really either, so that helps as well. But
I don't know if we can fully say that anymore.
I think the Cowboys. I was just saying that, but I think the whole Cowboys is all smoke. I think Florida State is the pick. I think that's where he goes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to believe with some of the stuff with him. So,
But he'll get his voice out there about where he wants his son to play, which is ridiculous. But should just be happy he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
But he can't control all the parents, especially when one of the big image like he is. So.
Yeah. We all remember the Mannings.
Yeah, I don't forget that.
All circles back. It's interesting, man. It was a pretty interesting week. I don't know if eye-opening is the right word, but like it's interesting because like we didn't even really get to like the late window, and I think it's because both these teams played in the early window that like caused this. But like, has there been a bigger regular season game than this Chiefs and Bills one coming up recently?
This whole week coming up is going to be some big games. Is it like rivalry week or something? You got Ravens Steelers this week as well. You got Bears Packers.
Yeah, I mean Commanders and Eagles are Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Also, how about that Thursday game last week? Fantasy galore.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, what a game.
Yeah, there's like quasi rivalries too, like Seattle, San Francisco.
Yeah, it feels like a rivalry week.
Houston, Dallas.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah, I can see that. But it's interesting because like I just don't know if we've had the hype around one game like this in a while in terms of like, yeah, we've had like week ones where they're like kind of big, right? But that's just kind of by design, right? Same thing with like week now 18 in a way. But like CBS, their pregame show is going on location to Buffalo this week. Like we never see that usually for a week 11 game.
Yeah.
Like that's the crazy part. Like the only time we see those go on locations like this past weekend for Veterans Day, right? Like Fox goes to like a Navy base or something like that, and CBS is at like a naval base, like stuff like that. I don't even know the last time I can really think of.
So the CBS crew is going.
Yeah, the Burleson, all of them are going. I know that.
Pretty cool.
They're saying J.J. Watt's gonna go through a table, or he's gonna send somebody through a table.
J.J. Watt's a good guy. He tries to be funny.
He's
just not very funny.
I don't think he's a good guy.
Not a good guy.
I think he's a fraud.
He's not funny at all.
No. Corny as hell. But like it's crazy, and like I wanted to do this separately from our picks because our picks are meant to be more like rapid fire when we do them. But like this is, I said this on Monday. I think this is probably the most important Bills game. I don't know about ever. I always say that portion of it because of like obviously the run that they had in the early 90s, but like certainly within the Josh Allen era, this is the biggest game in my mind because.
I wouldn't.
Look, this was supposed to be a crossroads type year for this team, or a quote unquote down year that a lot of us had pinned for them. And frankly, I know the records indicate otherwise, but they've looked better than the Chiefs this year. Now, I will say this. They play against the Chiefs better in the regular season than they do in the playoffs, statistically.
Well, yeah. They have no wins in the playoffs, but yeah.
But this is big because, like, obviously, like I've said, Chiefs have the better record, but if the Bills win, they get the tiebreak on them should they need to use it, which would give them home field if they both stay 1-2 the whole way. Like, and I get it, climate-wise, it's not all that different, but, like, I would rather be in the position of they have to come to Orchard Park January, 26th than have to go to Kansas City on January 26th. I can tell you that much. And I think that's big. And I think, too, I don't think it's the end of the world either if the Bills lose this week. Like, if they go out and it's just like if it's just like a close game and they lose on like a last-second field goal or something like that, like, so be it. But, like, if they go out there and they look good, like they are meant to be there in that moment type thing, I think that's pivotal for a potential later matchup in the postseason.
This is definitely one of the biggest regular season Bills games. I wouldn't say like their playoff games were bigger than this, but just recently too, the ones they've lost. I mean, yeah, it's a big statement. You want to get that 1 seed. This is a huge game for the 1 seed. Of course, I I was watching that Denver Kansas City game last week. I didn't know if it was gonna be a block or a miss. They were not gonna make that field goal.
And much like a lot of games this year involving the Chiefs, right? Like they were not the better team for 45 minutes in that game. They just weren't.
No, and of course Denver loses and Kansas City wins again. And I feel like you just mentioned it before. Could be a game-winning field goal. It's gonna feel like that same type of ending.
I think it's going to be a last-second field
What's the
goal.
weather looking like for Sunday in Buffalo?
I think more or less mid-50s and clear is
Nice.
last
Yeah.
I saw anyway.
I expect a good game. Kansas City has not shown me anything that they could blow out any team, so I expect a good.
It's weird the dynamics of these teams, right? Because the Bills, for the most part, when they've won, have been, freaking blowouts, right?
There's a better chance we see a Bills blowout than a Kansas City.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
I think we talked about this on Monday, myself and Kyle Evans. Like, Kansas City has only reached 30 once this year,
that was recently.
and it was it like 2 weeks ago? So, like, that'll update again, dude. It's only with us, I swear. But,
I'm thinking maybe 3 o'clock or something. Nope.
well, pretty much. Well, yeah, but it might be either way. But like Kansas City's been able to get it done, right? I mean, I'm not trying to knock down what they've done. You don't back yourself into 9-0, right? At the end of the day, you don't. But like, they've been super close. Their point differential is really small. Like if there was ever a time for the Bills to frankly go out there and gas pedal a team, it's this. And Taylor Swift apparently will be there. So
In Buffalo. She was there last year.
for the playoff game.
Yeah, the playoff game.
But regular season T Swift in Buffalo,
That's a game changer.
game changer indeed. All right, let's get to our picks.
How we do?
So how'd we do? Fair question. I went 11-3.
And you got the Washington wrong.
I did. Both of us did. 8-6 though for you, Nick.
Falling
So
apart.
the gap for me now is at 8 games.
Wow.
93-59. You're 85-67.
Hey, come get the crown.
We're going to be trying. So 4 teams on the bye this week: Arizona, Carolina, the Giants, Tampa Bay. That means 14 games again to pick this
I
week.
wonder why this week's good. We got Carolina and the Giants on the bye.
We'll remind us Arizona, who we didn't talk about, and Tampa Bay, who they're both exciting teams at the very least.
Tampa Bay's got to be the best 4-6 team. They just lost some close ones.
By the way, your first place NFC West Arizona Cardinals.
Kyler Murray, man.
Telling you, I said at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't sleep on them. All right, Thursday night, we already mentioned it. Washington at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a 3.5-point favorite at home. I'll go first on this one for a change. I'm going Washington. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. You want it first game?
No. I'm going to take the Eagles, though. I am going to go there.
Wow. After getting spurned by taking Dallas last week against them, huh?
I'm going to take the Eagles.
Okay.
It is in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? No, just kidding.
That's why.
Okay. First game, Sunday. This one team feels like it should be playing on Saturday, so I'm about to say. Jacksonville at Detroit.
Okay.
This is the biggest spread of the week. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest spread of the year so far. The Lions are 13.5-point favorites at home. Trevor Lawrence out, Mac Jones in again this week.
Okay, so that just made it more clear.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to go into explanation why both of us are taking Detroit there.
No.
Green Bay at Chicago. Chicago is 5.5-point underdogs at home. The Bears are a mess and a half right now. Fire their offensive coordinator. Apparently, some of the vets want to see Bajent get a start. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm taking Green Bay. I don't care that it's in a hostile environment. Give me the team that's not in absolute chaos right now.
Go, Pack, go.
Okay, I don't know about saying all that, but all right. The Rams at New England. The Patriots are 4.5-point underdogs at home.
Rams lost that game on Monday night.
They did.
Give me the Patriots.
I was torn on this game.
Give me the Patriots at home. The defense has been playing really well since the coach called them out.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I was torn on how to pick this game. I'm going the Rams. Not thrilled about it
Okay.
by any means. To the point when I put my pick in earlier for this, I actually did New England first and backed out of it. It's the offensive firepower on the Rams still that, like, I think they can get it done, but, like, I'm not a fan of my pick.
That's fair.
Yeah. Cleveland at New Orleans. The Saints are a 1.5 favorite at home.
Cleveland. Wins.
What was that?
Cleveland.
You're going Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going Cleveland as well. Jameis
wins.
revenge game.
Yeah, revenge game. That's right.
It's weird. Cleveland's coming off the bye. I think this will be a good indicator for them of where they are for moving forward. Line like that too tells me if they were home, they'd be probably favorites. So, in that situation, I'll go where I feel like there's a little bit better opportunity.
Yeah, we need a Jameis Winston post-game interview.
Oh, God, it'd be nuts. All right, this diabolical matchup: the Vikings at the Titans. Tennessee is a 5.5-point underdog at home.
Yeah, Nashville's a cool city. Can't wait to go someday. Hopefully I make it.
That being said,
I'm going to take Minnesota.
yeah, I'm going Minnesota as well, but man, a lot less confident, weirdly, this week taking them than going into last week. We had a little bit of Sam Darnold regressing to
He's
the
calmed
mean.
down a little bit, yeah.
All right, we're going to have Indianapolis at the Jets. The Jets are 3.5-point favorites at home. Anthony Richardson under center again for the Colts.
Were they flipping a coin?
I have no idea.
I'm going to take the Jets in this game.
So, I'm going to go Indy here.
Wow, Paul.
I knew that was coming. So, defensively, I thought they had a really good get-right game against Buffalo. I know the score doesn't indicate that, but...
They're only 2 games back.
Yeah, but that defense, I think, kind of got... They inadvertently got ducked for a couple weeks. Not their fault, but with the other stuff going on there, probably was kind of bound to happen a little bit. I hate to be that guy and look at it from this lens, but like, because clearly the Cardinals are a better team anyway. But like the Jets were straight up embarrassed to the point that like nobody talked about them Monday. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for them at this point they kind of fall a little bit into the realm of like Dallas for me in a sense where it's like, yeah, I think you got to prove it to me at this point before I can take you again. You know, like I just
definitely an age gap on the two quarterbacks.
I personally can't imagine this being like a high scoring game by any means, just because the Jets defense is they'll still cause some fits. I mean, saying that coming off a 30-plus point give up, but the Colts gave up 30 to the Bills as well. So I mean, I don't know.
I think Breece Hall is going to go off this week.
Yeah, probably. That one's the one game for sure I'm probably going to lose. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. The Steelers are 3-point underdogs at home.
Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, man, they keep surprising.
Yeah, but I can't take them after last week. So, all right, last of the 1 o'clock window. The Raiders at the Dolphins. Dolphins are 7.5-point favorites at home.
Raiders got to be the most least talked about team I've ever seen.
Weirdly.
I haven't heard anybody mention the Raiders all season.
Yeah.
The only thing I think was the Adams news. That was it.
There's been a couple other things, but yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't even know what's going on there. That being said.
Uh-oh.
Give me the Raiders.
Why?
Why? My family's a big Raiders family. My Uncle Joe, my cousin Joey, the Christianis, they're big Raiders people. So I have a little love towards the Raiders. And you should too. Obviously, this is
right.
This is the Pat John Russo game.
Yeah. But I like winning. That's why I'm taking the Dolphins in this matchup.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the Raiders.
Okay.
Sorry, Pat. Going with John.
All right. Fair enough. All right, we finally get to the 3-game late window, 4 o'clock kickoff. Seattle at San Fran. The Niners are 6.5-point favorites.
Hopefully Jake Moody doesn't get his head taken off this week.
Sheesh.
But I'm taking the Niners.
Yeah.
The 49ers.
I think it's a pretty. This might be. We didn't talk about McCaffrey coming back at all. But, yeah, this could be a big week for him. Seattle goes up a lot of yards on the ground.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm going Niners as well. Atlanta at Denver. Denver, 2.5-point favorites against the Falcons in Mile High.
Yeah. Give me Denver.
I went Denver as well. I still like what that defense has going on.
You like that?
I like that. And then we get to that game we talked about, Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites.
Come on. Good, big game. Looking forward to it. Big game, but come on. Kansas City. Kansas City's going to win this game. Let's be real.
Wow. Now, longtime people of this podcast know I'm not a Bills guy.
Mm-hmm.
But damn it if I'm not part of the Mafia this week. Give me the Bills.
All right. I will not be part of that mafia, but you have your fun. I like winning, as Paul Russo just said.
That's true. But we're talking about two good teams here.
Oh, like the Dolphins are great.
Sunday Night Football. Cincinnati at the Chargers. The Chargers are a 1.5 favorite at home. I'm on the Chargers here.
Cincinnati.
You're on Cincy?
Yeah, I like Joe Burrow.
They kind of fall into that category as well for me to prove it, even though they clearly are like better.
This is a big playoff game. If they want to make the playoffs this year, they got to win this one.
Oh, no, yeah. Big time. Big time. And then Monday Night Football, Houston at Dallas. Dallas 7.5-point underdogs.
Houston. Not playing great. I've heard they had a 2-hour players-only meeting.
Really?
The Texans. That's what I heard.
Well, I'm going to Houston.
But
now, it's a sketchy pick. They've been messing around too much lately, but
I'm going to take Houston.
Yeah.
They're the best team in Texas.
Yeah. Or are they the best team in Texas?
That's true. Texas Longhorns are pretty good.
College football, baby.
You
Boy, the SEC really loves trying to mess with this playoff and the thought process.
You happy with
behind it.
yesterday's rankings?
I'm not thrilled, but considering it's only the second week of them for the season, I'm not gonna.
Second of 5.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not gonna get into the fit that some people are in. Like I don't know what people kind of expect from these people at this point. Like they're gonna favor the teams that have contracts with their television network. Like I don't know what you want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the interesting one was Indiana jumping 2 teams.
Actually, it's second
Like-
of 6. There's 6 of them if you want to be real. Yeah, because it'd be.
What? But like I mean I thought the most interesting part was Indiana jumping 2 teams and like probably justifiably so. Like I don't know what people. The wild part to me is people expect, right, this committee after what we saw last year, good, bad, or indifferent about how you feel about Florida State, deliberately telling Florida State like just win and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then reneging on it. Like I don't know why anything surprises people anymore with the rankings.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like I thought the BCS was a perfect system when it wasn't. Frankly, I was one of the early people probably on board with having the playoff back when I was 18. Mm-hmm. But like the fact of the matter is like I don't know what people expect anymore involving people who are going to do what's best for their pockets. In that sense.
Yeah, I was pretty content with the rankings.
Yeah.
These people who think the SEC should have 3 lost teams in there are insane. That's not. You wanted to join the comp.
So that's the one part for me where I do agree with some of the discord going on. Like the one that I part laughed at is like you really think if Alabama gets to 3 losses, which is entirely possible, that this version of an Alabama team should be in, you're nuts.
Yeah,
you're nuts.
And let's be real, Alabama would probably beat Indiana or Penn State in a Big Ten game.
I don't know about that.
I think they would, but if we're going off rankings, they have 3 losses. Indiana has, well, they would win out and then 0, but say they get 1. They have a better record, which, college basketball fan, they don't care about record. They just care about what type of teams you beat. And Georgia's beating who? They beat Alabama. They beat Texas too. Who beat Texas?
Yeah, Georgia did beat Texas, right?
So they have an Alabama and a Texas win on their resume.
But my thing with
That's why there's
my thing with the rankings, right? And I've said it last week on here. I've said it to enough people off here at this point, where I don't think there's any great teams this year. I do think Oregon at this point is the best team. They've say what you want, but they've been the only ones that go out there and handle business collectively this year, right? They're the only ones who have looked consistent. You know, like Penn State got frauded pretty quick, right? We know the limitations of Ohio State.
the fact
It's very clear the limitations of the SEC as a whole this year. I look, and that's where I kind of disagree with you. Like, I don't think Alabama's a guarantee to beat. I agree with you on the guarantee to beat Penn State. That's because I think they're just frauds. But I disagree. I will push back on the Indiana one.
the fact that there are, what is there? Was it four Big Ten teams in the top 5? I think Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. They're all in the top 5, which is insane to me. The Big Ten is always overrated. Yes, they won it last year with Michigan.
And by the way, hold on, I don't mean to interrupt, but it just got me on the thing. Don't complain about Miami being 9th, but being 4. You have to remember that the Power 4 all have buys.
Yeah.
Like, that's why when it's in the bracket, it's going to be
That's
4.
why Boise State's in and Georgia's out.
Yes.
I think a race that people aren't talking about is Army potentially catching Boise State. People always think, oh, it's Boise State and that's it. No, Army. What's the deal? I have a question, though.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Washington State? Can they be a conference champ?
Yeah, so them / Oregon State, which is obviously they're not going to be in it this year by any means, but
Washington State, though, is there.
so because the Pac-12 is technically their conference, if they get in, I believe they get the 5 technically. I think they fall into where Notre Dame is.
They're rooting for Boise State to lose.
I don't know if they're necessarily rooting for that just yet. Only because since they have that side door in anyway if they get to it.
The ACC better be careful here. They better not have some losses. Miami better not lose to Syracuse. SMU better not lose some games. Then they might not get no teams in the field.
Well, they will get one team in.
Not if they collapse.
The winner of the conference title game gets in.
Not if they're not top 5. But yeah, I mean the chances
They aren't
pretty
yeah,
slim.
I mean,
I'm thinking if Boise State, Mountain West, and Pac-12 jump them.
you're banking on a very big chaos theory that's not going to happen.
Big fan of chaos.
Well, yeah.
How about my Notre Dame potentially going into Tennessee? How about that game?
Yeah.
I think though Notre Dame's on the road right now, but if they win out, they're going to have a home game. So much has got to happen. If they win out, those teams are someone's going to fall behind them. They're going to have a home game.
More than likely.
Yeah. But Alabama at Indiana would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool to watch.
Well, let's get to our picks. It was not a banner week for either one of us.
No.
We were both 0-5.
Oh, that's really bad.
That is really bad. So you are now 37-17.
Okay.
I have fallen to 24-33.
0-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I had a parlay. I went 0-3, so it's probably pretty similar.
You had an opportunity at the very last game of the night on Saturday to be 1-4, and yeah, holy ward.
Well, we're 0-5, so I didn't use any soap in the shower this week, so I'm good to go.
First game, and this plays into it. Well, actually, I got 2 games on here that technically play to your chaos theory. So, first game, number 25, Tulane at Navy. Navy is a touchdown underdog at home.
Tulane.
I'm going Tulane as well. Be really interesting though. I think Tulane's legit. I think they first new head coach down there this year. Willie Fritz obviously went to Houston. Just started off slow. But they've rebounded really nicely. They're 7-2.
Yes.
So
Yeah, good Good team.
One of the things to keep an eye on.
Navy's
good.
I think they overachieved.
This will be the barometer of that.
That's a good word right there.
Thank you.
You got a big vocabulary.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Number 23, Missouri at number 21, South Carolina. The Gamecocks, 12-point favorites at home.
Give me the Gamecock.
Yeah. I'm going there as well. I think Cook is still out for Missouri. This is probably their last gasp at any shot within the conference, let alone the playoffs. So, and South Carolina appears to be legit. So we'll see.
Good home team.
Here's the other game playing into your chaos theory. Number 13, Boise State at San Jose State. San Jose State, 13.5-point underdogs at home. However, the Spartans, 7-2. They've been quietly really good out in the Mountain West.
Chaos, baby. San Jose State.
Wow.
Give me them. Upset.
I'm going Boise. Got to.
Even though I really like to see Boise win.
Because you want Genty to be Heisman, don't you?
Yeah, that'd be cool. But Boise State was that first mid-major team.
Yep.
And if they could get a shot at a national title, get their actual shot, it'd be so rewarding.
Arizona State at number 16, Kansas State. Kansas State, 9.5-point favorites
Why'd
at
you
home.
pick this one?
Because Arizona State probably should be ranked,
Really?
and they aren't. Now, I have to remember, the rankings I use on this are technically the AP.
Nice. I don't know. Kansas State.
Give me those Sun Devils.
I'm
I'm going ASU. Give me Dillingham.
We could have got Notre Dame, Virginia. But,
Well, I got a big one here. Number 7, Tennessee at number 12, Georgia. Georgia, 10-point favorites.
But that dog, ugly. Give me Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee as well. Especially for me because I get the points. Because I pick on the spread for these. Yeah, Georgia's just, I don't know what's up with Carson Beck. He does not look great. It's not like Tennessee's looked great the past couple weeks either, but I disagree about the Bulldog being ugly, Nick. But one thing I do know is ugly is Carson Beck. So
Yeah.
all right, couple things before we get out of here. I mentioned we've never talked about the G League. We will here. So some late breaking news this morning. Reportedly, Bronny James will only be playing home G League games. I look. Far be it from me to say anything about a professional athlete in this sense, right? But like, what exactly is the game plan here with this kid at this point? Like, I legitimately at this point, it's weird how I feel about this. I laugh at the Lakers at how they're handling this. I feel bad for Bronny, if I'm being completely honest. 'Cause I don't know if he definitely didn't ask for like any of this in this sense, right? The circus that is. It's not fruitful for his development, like the way they're going about this at all. Like, and I understand, and I completely agree. If development was the top priority, he would not have came out for the draft this year. I get that, but like, there are elements where you can still work on this, and that's why the G League is where it's at now, right? It's a true minor league system for the NBA.
Yep.
But like, I just don't understand. And I saw one person say it's because G League arenas aren't ready for Bronny. Like, that's not true in that sense. Like, if you think, this is going to sound bad, and I only say this having knowledge because Erie had a G League team for a while, and I sat and saw a bunch of those games. Like, half of the arenas that the G League play in now would be able to handle the quote-unquote circus no problem. Trust me. Like, just as an example, where the Cleveland Charge, the Cavs G League team, they play at Cleveland State's arena. Trust me, I don't think 9,000 people are really coming out to see Bronny.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? They'd be able to handle it.
Especially people are starting to learn about him. He's really not that exciting of a player.
No. And that's what I mean by, like, I feel bad for him because now it's just kind of stunning his development.
Yeah.
And we don't fully know who asked for what here and whatever concessions were made. But, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, obviously sitting at the end of the bench on the Lakers wasn't going to help him.
Yeah.
So they send him down to their affiliate in the South Bay squad, and it's like now he's only going to play like half the games technically. Like this isn't good.
And he didn't even play great his first game I saw.
No, he came off the bench.
This is terrible development,
Yeah.
and I feel like they're just trying to sell tickets with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, doesn't he want to play in the NBA someday?
Right.
Instead of just being LeBron's kid?
Yeah.
This is just, I thought it was bad when he went to the Lakers. You had Austin Rivers come into the league. He did eventually go to his daddy's team, but he didn't start off that way. And,
Well,
I think it's better. He would have been so much better off if he didn't play for the Lakers.
yeah, I agree. And there are also some differences there. Like Austin Rivers was a Mr. Basketball. Like he was like, mind you, his NBA career didn't pan out the way
Yeah.
it was hoped.
It's a totally
but
different.
But like he was like you could tell he was clearly like good.
He was a star
right?
at
Like,
Duke.
Yeah, like
This Bronny guy couldn't even make an impact on USC.
it's tough because I feel like that's a little bit of revisionist history given the health incident and stuff like that.
No,
But like,
that's definitely a setback.
but like, it's just one of those things where it's like, and I don't even know. Like, the tough part is like there were worse situations probably for him to go to in the NBA. Very very clearly worse situations. But like, now it's just turned into frankly like like we've been saying, it's a circus now, and it's like he's not. Again, can't speak to this actually. Like I hope he's getting the help he needs to develop and whatever and stuff like that. I just worry the fact that he's going to be missing very clear in-game action.
Yeah.
That like, because like, and that's the thing that was brought up too. I think Bronny James was one who I saw tweeted it and was just like, that's all fine and well, but like, what's the plan then for those 40 games that he's just not playing? Like what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
You know. And that's part of it where it's like nobody said anything, nobody knows anything. It's just,
And
I don't know.
NBA is a sport, basketball.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's LeBron's kid. Usually, after a few years, you don't do much. They move on. They find somebody else, and you go overseas. An NBA career cannot be very long. The average length.
No, yeah, probably not. I mean, now that you kind of bring it up like that. So.
Like, you see a lot of guys like Andy Rollins. What did he last? A year, maybe?
Not even.
Year and a half?
Not
He
even.
was a draft pick.
Tyler Lydon's like the one that sticks out to me. I think he was like technically like.
Wasn't he a first-round draft pick?
Yeah, Lydon. Lydon was first rounder. I think he was like technically like 4 years, but like 2 of them he was hurt. So
They
it's
move
like,
on. They find somebody else. Your career doesn't last long.
Yeah.
It's like, how long are they really going to go with this guy? He needs a lot of development.
Yeah. So, hey, who knows?
Somebody who doesn't need development is
Well, yeah, Joey Logano, 3-time champion.
a champion.
Yeah, a lot of discourse now surrounding that. Again, gonna sound weird. I'm talking about like this. I feel bad for Logano because like he's just getting pelted with these questions about the legitimacy of his championship and as if he can control what the format is and stuff like that, right? Like,
Well, what's the big deal?
people are pissed off, and I get it. It's not a great format. Like, racing does not suit a quote-unquote playoff format well. That being said, like, I don't know why now people are mad about it when this is year 10 of the system that we're in. Technically, I guess technically it's year 11 of the system that we're in. Now all of a sudden it's an issue. Like, come on. And I get it. Like, Logano, I think, was like, if we broke down the numbers, he kind of comes out to about the 15th best driver this year in terms of everything. Like, cool. Like, I get it. Not great.
He won the last race.
But, like, yeah, he went out and he did the thing that you're supposed to do in that situation. Like, it's kind of like how I equated the Florida State situation last year for their college football playoff. And they, like, what do you want them to do? Not go out there
Did
and
he not win one in the 8?
No, he did.
He did.
He literally did everything he was supposed to do. The tough part is in the round of 8 to get there, he missed. He was just outside, and Alex Bowman, who was supposed to be in the round of 8, got disqualified for his car being underweight at Charlotte. So like, it's not Joey's fault that Bowman's team tried to cheat, and that's how he got in. It's like, what do you want him to do? Now, I will say this. I agree. I think this system needs to be tweaked a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the way the past few years have frankly gone with the system.
Do you like the whole you win, you're in?
N- yes and no.
Because it's like one
The
race.
tough part with it is, right, is the way that was set up initially, it wasn't a big problem. Yeah, there were a couple of years there were some outliers, like there's no doubt about that. But like up until really 2022 when this generation of car came out, like the guys who were winning were pretty much the guys within the top 10 in points anyway. So it never was really a big issue. Now the tough part is with the way this car is, like you have not so much fluke wins, but everybody's collectively in this sense closer together that like, yeah, the 32nd place guy in points got a win and now he's in. Like that's where I kind of do have like a bit of a problem with it. But like say like the guy who was like 12th in points, he gets a win. Well then yeah, like he was probably going to be in anyway, so it's not like that big a deal.
I think it should be, this is just a thought I had. I think it should be head to head. You have the race, you do the thing.
So
it's like the 16th best driver goes against the first best driver. He has to beat just that guy that race to move on.
So the interesting part is I part of me wonders within this. So NASCAR next year, clearly you don't know about this. They're doing a bracket challenge of sorts for the drivers, a bit of an incentive midway through the year where
Season tournament.
pretty much where their matchup is a head-to-head matchup. Like the number one at that point in points will go up against whoever's 36th in points, and that's their matchup. And at
It's
the
just
end,
for one race?
at the end of I think it's 5 races. I can't remember which exactly and how they fall, but at the end of the 5 races, whoever's the champion of that gets like a bonus $1 million type thing. Like,
Probably 32. 5 races. Because
I can't remember how many races it is.
it
So-
probably is 30. It's probably 5 with 32.
Yeah.
It's probably 1 versus 32.
Yeah, I can't remember.
16 versus 17.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but either way, so they're kind of doing that. Part of me wonders if that's a bit of a test thing too. I don't think it is. I think you might see some change, not so much next year, but the year after in the playoff format, just because next year's stuff is kind of already settled in terms of, what tracks are where in the schedule, obviously, and stuff like that. And
End of the day, he's a 3-time champ, though.
yeah,
How many have done that now?
he's number 10.
It's crazy there's that many.
Either way,
Most underrated driver of all time.
no, disagree about that, but. He's underrated in the fact that like people have hated him since day one. That people like they just can't get out of their own way of it. But he's not the most underrated driver of all.
Or said is.
No, but
He's pretty underrated.
whatever you say. So that will wrap up Fresh Takes though for today. So we'll get out of
Who's the
here.
most underrated driver? Don't leave us hanging.
Most underrated driver?
Of all time.
Man, that's actually pretty good.
First one that comes to your head.
I mean, he gets a lot of vitriol right now, but like Denny Hamlin's up there.
Sure.
So
Nice.
yeah. I think it's easier to say the overrated ones but like I'm not going to get into that now. Who are you shouting out this week?
I'm shouting out my friend Larry Morris.
Larry!
Yeah, he's in my college fantasy football league, Cougar College.
Ball Hall, Space Hall?
This is Davis Hall.
My bad.
But
You're happy I know those though?
yeah, very good.
Thank
Big
you.
fan. Larry's won 4 straight since his 1-5 start. Is in the playoffs, and he just knocked off the undefeated Noah Ogden's team at 9-0 last week. So shout out Larry and Noah. Going to be a good end to the fantasy football season. 1 month to go.
I like that.
Got a big also Jerry won fantasy football. I mean Paul. For the first time this season.
Only time this season.
Well, finals, championship.
Yeah.
You never know.
I need some medical help.
You probably need to win this match.
I need some medical help on my team.
Yeah. Who'd you have? You
Well,
had
McCaffrey's back, but Evans is out, and
That's right, Evans.
Ryan Robinson's been out, and he might be out again. Who knows?
Baker, good pick.
He's on the bye this week, so it is Bo Nix's time to shine. So
His team down to win.
Yep. So on that note, we'll get out of here. Appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. Be back at it again next Wednesday, everybody. Enjoy the weekend.
takes one touch.